All right, guys, top of the morning. We can only control the controllables. I got stuck this morning. I had my flight all planned out. I was to arrive at 10:25 at SFO. From there, I was going to take an Uber out to Emeryville for our hustlers lunch. But there was two screws loose on the initial plane, and they had to do maintenance. And I would have known that if I wouldn't have fallen asleep. And so I slept through all the announcements about the delay and all this. And so I wake up and everyone's frantic. Video posted on Elias's YouTube. Sorry, everyone's all frantic, and they're like, "We only have 6 people that are not connecting right now. So if you're not connected, let everyone go." And I'm looking, I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, I got to run." So I run. I took a train, and I'm standing at the gate, and I see my plane there, and the door's closed. I'm knocking on the door, nothing. I go down to the Delta guy. He's like, "Man, once they close the door, they've already submitted the list to the FFA or the FAA. We can't do anything about it. We've put you on a later flight." So I could sit here and piss and moan about it. Well, what am I going to do? It's out of my reach. It's out of my hands. It's not anything I can control. So I had to run some audibles today. I'm actually going to leave a little bit early from coaching today, but I have amazing people that are going to stand in, that are going to cover, and that are going to run the rest of the session. And so you guys, coming to you live, coming to you well, just got back from Albany, New York, upstate New York, with a team that just needed some help. They needed some help. So I flew out for a one-day mastermind with them, and the responses was so positive. They were so just in a different state that they just needed some help. They've been going through some trials as a company. And so I'm actually going to turn it over to Glenn. Glenn, you're going to bring us out on the field and kick this whole meeting off today. Share your thoughts, your sentiment, and take the mic, big dog. Let's roll.
Awesome. Well, you never know when you're going to be asked to step in and step up. And life is full of surprises, good, and the surprises that challenge us. And today is a challenging day for me and my family. And I am ready to step up and be the dad that I need to be. And so I encourage us all to just put on those shoes and get ready to do whatever it is that you have to do to take care of what needs to be taken care of.
Right. That's right. And Glenn, I know personally some of the things that you're going through. I will tell you this, man, you are a great father. Being a father is really hard. Being a mother is really, really hard. And so shout out to all the parents on the call today. Everything that you guys go through, everything that you have been through, and everything that you will go through in the future. We have to be the strength for our family. So my man, I know it's hard. You opened up to me a couple weeks ago. So my heart goes out to you. If you need anything at all, please let me know. Okay.
Thank you. I got this, and I know we got this, and every single person on this call has got whatever challenge is coming your way today.
That's right, big dog. Give him one. Give him one. Give him one. That's right. That's right. Well, speak about just being ready and being on, being able to step in at a drop of a hat. Ashley, what time was it when I texted you this morning for the very first time?
Good morning. It was 5 a.m.
5 a.m. And so as soon as she sees, she's like, "God, this guy's crazy." I don't even know if she was out of bed yet. But, I obviously have some challenges with this flight. And so I'm texting her, I'm texting Blessing, I'm texting Patrick, and they're like, "Yeah, it's all good. We'll handle it. We'll take care of it." And so, Ashley, just want to say thank you. So you guys, we're obviously going to talk about the market today, the conditions of the market, what's happening. But I want to share a couple things with you guys. And I've also created a worksheet. We always talk about the message to market. And some time ago, I created a document, but what I want you guys to do is I want you to have this new updated worksheet so you guys can go in and put the update based on the market that you serve. Everyone serves a different market. Some of you obviously are some homes in the same market, but I created this worksheet. That way, when you guys are done with this call, you can go and print that, and then you guys can just fill in that data. That way, your message to market becomes even more fluid and you have a template. Does that sound good, everybody? All right, cool. So let's do this. Brandy, Brandy, I'm going to tell you what. I was so looking forward to seeing you at your very first Hustlers lunch, but I'm stuck in Detroit and I can't do anything about it. They damn two screws on the plane that were faulty. Anyways, have fun and eat a lot of food for me, okay? All right. I think she's saying something cool, probably. But I'm going to share my...
I said I will. I saw that. I was like, wait, my first Hustlers lunch and Elias isn't going to be there. When I told him last month I was going to make sure I got there.
But listen, just take a lot of pictures, all right? Tag me in a lot of stuff. I've never missed one. And so, it is what it is. We can't control everything. And so this is an uncontrollable, and I'm not going to fret over something I cannot control. It's all the airlines. And the lady on the phone was really nice. I hear people in the line, they were just, well, you guys need to do something about it. What can you do about it? There was nothing that they can do about it. So anyways, let's talk about you guys. All right, guys, I saw this the other day and I wanted to share this with you because I thought it was really powerful. And this is all about you. It's about your identity and it's about your brand. Your name isn't just identity, it's leverage. It holds weight before you enter the room. It speaks when you are silent. It opens doors or closes them. Every move you make either adds value to your name or takes away from it. Let me say that line one more time for the people in the back of the room. Every move you make either adds value to your name or it takes away from it. The way that you show up, follow through, treat people builds reputation tied to it. Your name becomes a brand long before you realize it. And if you were intentional, that brand becomes your advantage. When people mention your name, Glenn, when they mention your name, Ashley, when they mention your name, Jessica, let it come with respect, trust, and value. That's the kind of leverage that no money can buy. Protect it, invest in it, elevate it, because your name is more than what you were given. It's what you are going to build with. And the moment your name becomes a solution, you have won. When your friends and family in the industry talk about real estate, when they talk about a lender, when they talk about who's the best person to help you, your name should be the name that people are saying. But if you are not consistent, if you are not visible, if you're not showing up every single day, if you're falling short on all the things that you know that you need to do in order to push your business forward and you're owning your visibility, then you are not giving your name the justice that it deserves. Right? When you say your name, like, oh, that's my name, it's so prideful. That is your brand, my friends. And when you let yourself down with inaction and lack of discipline, then you are letting that name down. Because how many of you, raise your hand, are proud of the name that you have? I am beyond proud to rock the Astuto name. And I want to give it all the glory that it deserves. And I want to be the solution. When somebody says my name or they have a challenge in coaching, oh, call Elias. That's what I want. That's the brand, that's the identity. And that's what I want for all of you. But you can't do that with lack of discipline. You can't do that without consistency. And you certainly can't do that without visibility. Does that make sense, everybody? Anybody have any thoughts, any contributions, and any insight on that? Because that hit home for me. Would love to hear what you guys have to say, think, or any contributions on that vein in itself. Anybody? Going once. Hey. Yo, let's go, big dog.
Good morning. Good morning. No, on that line, I had somebody send me a Slack message that another agent had posted. They were looking for an Oakland agent. This other agent sent the post to me and said, you would be perfect for this. I hit the agent up that originally posted it. I'd love to work with you. Let's do this. Let's partner on this person. I just feel like neither of those connections.
If you want this item, please be the agent.
If I wasn't present and if I wasn't consistent, then neither of these people would have thought of me. So I do wholeheartedly believe in that sentiment, is you just got to keep showing up and things will keep happening the more you put yourself in proximity.
Yeah. All right. I absolutely love this, you guys. Listen, all I know is consistency. All I know is just showing up and having discipline and that it's had in my life. I see the results it's had in my relationship. And so good stuff to me. And anybody else have any thoughts on that vein? Oh, is it your birthday today, big dog? Well, happy birthday.
Right on. Thank you. Thank you.
Man, we've been celebrating so many birthdays together. It's crazy. It's crazy. Happy birthday to you, my man. All right, guys. With you, I'll also put it in the chat down below. So go ahead and grab your phones, but I'll put it in the chat down below. This is for you guys. I made sure to do some work on this morning since I had some time here at the airport, but grab this. And then I'll also put it down in the chat down below, or Judith, if you could put it in the chat below, please. And just give me a thumbs up on the screen once you guys have it. Perfect. Perfect. If you're driving, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat down below. That way everybody has it. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to open that up and I want you to save that document somewhere that you're always going to be able to find it. I want this to be something that you work on, something that you practice, something that you redefine and refine as the market shifts and changes, so on and so forth. So what I'll do is I'll just drop it down below, copy link, boom, bam, we're in. All right. So let me put this down here. Paste. All right, cool. So for the people that are driving right now or are actually on this call on their phone, go ahead and hit the link. It is in the chat down below. That way you have this document. Now, let's just take a quick look at this. And what you guys are going to hear is you guys are going to hear some things that I always say over and over and over again in coaching. And so I wanted to share this with you. So this is a message to market worksheet. So all you have to do is you just have to do some research and you have to fill in the blanks. But I think this is a really good exercise for you to really get proficient on how you're communicating the data and how you're pulling the data, and then how you are really sharing that with your consumers as well as on social media. Keep it moving. Message to market worksheet. This worksheet is designed to help real estate professionals craft a powerful data-packed message to market. Your goal is to go beyond the headlines, communicate market truths, and position yourself as a trusted expert. Use this guide to analyze, interpret, and communicate market conditions with clarity, confidence, and conviction. So why the data? We share this, which is something that you've heard me say time and time again. Let me take a moment to quickly share with you the reality of what's actually occurring in the market today. You see, despite what people think, despite the headlines, despite what their uncle told them, despite what's happening in their own personal circles, we need to share the reality of what is actually occurring in the real estate market. You need to be able to share with them the data, what homes are selling for. Is it a buyer's market or house sitting? Are they going fast? What are you experiencing in your market? And so what I've done is I've given you a way to really, really break this down into sections. And if you just take the time and you do this, and it obviously won't be done all on this call, but it will share with you different ways to break this down. It's also going to give you some questions to ask your buyers. What have you heard about the local real estate market in Berkeley? What type of market do you believe are in? Where did you get that information, Tom? All right, well, then you share, let me walk you through the reality of what's actually happening in the market. And then you hit them with some facts, right? Home sales, are they up or down year over year? Are buyers paying historically high or lower prices right now? Days on the market, are those up? Are those down? All market specific. Pick it a couple cities. Let's say it's Pinole, El Sobrante, El Cerrito, wherever you serve, whether it's Sacramento, it is Elk Grove, it is Natomas. Give you guys some ideas here. Will the market sustain? Well, here's some information that I pulled from a long time ago. What I want you to do is I want you to do your own research. Will this market sustain? I believe that this market will not be the same in the first quarter of 2026. Read, understand where the market's going, and be able to capitalize on this. And let's continue cruising on. Understanding the competition, what drives a competitive offer? I want you guys to really, really articulate what drives a very competitive offer in this market. And that's why I said customize it here. I put some examples down here, acting fast, minimum to no contingencies, whatever the day is, or whatever the point is. But I want you guys to fill in this data. I want you to be very, very clear on this, because here's the question for everybody. If we know that it's more challenging for buyers, or excuse me, it's less challenging for buyers right now because they have more opportunities. So what are we up against? We are up against, how do we build urgency in a non-urgent market? Stay there for a second, right? How do we build urgency in a non-urgent market? Buyers are like, oh, well, I have more choices. I could see more houses. There's more opportunities for me, so I might take a little bit longer. But we know that this pocket, this window is not going to last long for buyers. So how do we create urgency in a non-urgent market? These are the types of things that I want you guys to be thinking about. So A, do this worksheet, break it down. Fill in the blanks, have that be your worksheet, your cheat sheet. So when you communicate with the buyer, when you communicate with the seller, you're actually spitting some fire based on the data, not your opinion. Make sense, everybody? Second thing is, how do you articulate and build urgency in a non-urgent market? Because for some of you, you are in a non-urgent market. You're selling homes in Berkeley, that's an urgent market. There's homes that are going to be urgent. But for the most part, in most markets, we're seeing year-over-year inventory increases. So what that creates is a lack of urgency on the buyer side. And so I want you guys to be able to phrase it, to be able to obviously share, to be able to push people when they need that extra push, because the last thing we want them to do is miss out on a great opportunity for their families. Does that make sense, everybody? Does this worksheet help you guys kind of frame how you pull your messaging and how you put your data together? Does this help? Tanisha, take yourself off of mute. I want to hear from you.
Yeah, this is kind of what I actually go through.
Patrick, your name is not Tanisha.
No, it absolutely helps because I'm thinking of a buyer that I have and I need to educate them more on the numbers because they're actually an engineer, and the worksheet helps because they need data in order to create a little bit more urgency, because they are in fact saying, oh, we have plenty of options, we're going to take our time. And I'm like, no, you can't take your time because we don't know when it's going to change. So it does help. Absolutely.
You know what? Somebody asked me that question yesterday. How do you build urgency in a non-urgent market? And it's being able to really look at all of the data, look at where we're heading, look at the headlines and see past all that. We know that that's a decent opportunity right now for a lot of buyers, but we know without a shadow of a doubt, this is not going to last. It is not going to last. And so Patrick, let's go over to you, AKA Tanisha. Let's go over to you, Patrick.
My bad, Tanisha. Yeah, no, I was going to say this is kind of like the structure that I'm doing with my clients right now. It's, you know, especially in the first kind of meetup is you provide the data. Of course, they're going to have this kind of underlying kind of information they got from the news or whatever, their friends and family. But I like to go through this route where I provide them the data first. But before I go and educate them, I do ask them like, all right, what do you guys know? What's up? And then I kind of just walk them through it. And delivering the hyper local market instead of like the national general market kind of helps out a lot as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys take that worksheet. Now I want to challenge you guys, and I'm going to challenge you next week. When you come to coaching next Wednesday, I'm going to challenge you to share with me your worksheet. All right, tell me. I'm looking, and you pick the area. What do you have? Share with me, and I want you to be able to articulate that. That's how we all get better. Because not only do we have to pull the data for our consumers, that's one part, that's comprehension and knowledge. Well, you guys are all astute. The second part of this is how do we articulate that data? How do we articulate the data in ways that people can understand and we don't lose them? The last thing you want to do is like lose somebody and be like, oh, that's a lot to think about, Tanisha. We'll get back to you. No, you've made it confusing for them. We want to simplify that, but we want to make sure that they understand where the market is. What do you know? Here's the reality. Here's what's happening. What do you think's happening if there's more houses on the market? What do you think happens when there's less houses on the market? Be able to just share with them in a way that layman's can understand. And so, Patrick, I appreciate that. Let's get a little bit more feedback before we go on. And then I'm actually going to pass the mic over to Ashley and to Patrick, and they're going to put you guys to the ringer somewhat. Maybe not. Hugo, give me some thoughts and feedback on this. And then Laura Franco, thoughts and feedback on this.
So I just hopped on like 5 minutes ago, right when you were going towards the end of the sheet. But definitely, I like the examples that Jessica is sharing in the chat, and that I think Tanisha was her name, was sharing that, you know, we're having buyers that are like right now, you know, they're hearing all the news, they're even watching our videos saying, oh, you know what, it's a buyer's market, let's kind of take our time. And I think I'm experiencing that same thing here. And definitely the data and showing them like some visuals I feel like they would appreciate that and, you know, change your perspective and take some actions.
I promise you, if you brought a sheet up like this, and you know, it doesn't have to be my sheet, but you just put it in your own flow into your buyer's consultation and ask them, what do you understand about the market right now? You know, what kind of market are we in, and where'd you get that information? All right, cool, Tom. Let me share with you the reality of what's actually happening in the market. I pulled some specific data on this part of you know, the Bay Area or Sacramento or wherever you're at, and I want to share this high level data with you. I promise you that will go a long way, Hugo. So I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being on. Laura, let's get some contributions from you. One thought, one contribution based on what we've covered thus far.
Well, like I was saying, like the other guys were saying, it's the same. I've run into customers who are actually really hesitant on buying because of their finances, and they're not pre-approved. And I'm trying to give them as much information as possible to say, hey, this is a great time. You have a lot going on right now. You never know when things are going to change. So it's like you want to grab everything by the cojones and go, and, you know, I don't know, some people seem like they're kind of fearful in a way. And it's, I don't know,
Of
it's
course they
hard.
are.
Right.
Of course they are. This is marriage. Homeownership is marriage. It's not dating anymore.
Yeah.
There's no backing out of this.
Yeah.
There's no backing out of this. And so that commitment is fearful to people. But Laura, I appreciate your contribution. Listen, Ashley, I know you have something in store for us. Patrick is going to be here to help facilitate coaching. Ashley, you ready to deliver some fire as always?
As always. As
All right. So
always.
you guys, I'm going to leave you in the hands of Patrick and of Ashley. I wanted to be here. Unfortunately, I'm stuck, but they gave me a new ticket. I'm boarding at 11:51. Okay, cool. So I'm a few minutes late, but I wanted to make sure to be here with you guys and just be able to open up the session. But I trust Patrick and Ashley with your guys' time, effort, and energy. We're going to do a little popcorn session, but they're also going to, Ashley's going to share with you some things about the market right now. We're going to have a conversation. We'll spend the rest of our time here doing what we typically do on a Wednesday. Ashley, Patrick, or anybody else, any questions before I have to dip? No? And you know how much I love this. You know how much I love this group and how much, I trust in you guys. And so leaders create leaders. So I appreciate you guys. Listen, be here, be mindful and be involved in the conversation, just like I was here, you guys. And I will see you in San Francisco or in the Bay Area in a couple hours. But you guys have an amazing day. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, but don't go anywhere. Stay here until the session is over. Ashley, do you have host rights?
I just let somebody in, so I'm assuming yes.
Yes. All right, guys. Love, light, positive energy to Patrick and to Ashley for stepping in. And thank you guys for being here and always being students, because listen, we're constantly in growth mode. That growth does not stop. It will stop when we're at the end of our life. We're constantly staying in the pockets, constantly in growth mode. So I appreciate you guys more than you will ever know. I will see you on the flip side. Ashley, Patrick, the show is yours.
Have a good flight.
Thank you.
All right, Laura, I just wanted to respond to what you said first off before we go any further. You said that a lot of clients are feeling fearful because of their finances and maybe they're a little scared. And a lot of times, I mean, I feel like at this point in my life, I've talked to thousands of people. Most people are like that up front, mostly because they're embarrassed. Finances is a really private situation, right? And they need to be put at ease. So what I find that does that is when you take all the pressure off and you say, it's okay that you're not ready right now. That's absolutely okay. I have someone I'd loved for you to talk to just to plan because she's talked to, or he or whoever you sent him to, has talked to thousands of people, and they're going to help you strategize with credit, with savings, with down payment assistance loans, and just get you ready, whether you're ready today or in 2 years from now. It's an incredible market right now. I hope you're ready now. But if not, I want you to have the support that you deserve to get you there. And if you come at it from like a coddling, supportive way, a lot of times people will lower their guard and say, it's okay if you have a 400 credit score, that is absolutely okay. We have people here in place to support you through this, to get you to the goals so that you have keys in your hand at some point when you're ready. And if you support them, they're usually like, okay, you're not here to judge me, you're here to support me, and I'm willing to trust you. So try that. I know everyone here at the Money Store is happy to help no matter what chapter they're in to get them there eventually. And then I did want to talk about this news article. As we were on the call, I was just going through the Wall Street Journal and seeing if there was any headlines. That's a good headline to use as a social media post or even to follow up with your clients about. Trump is considering firing Powell soon, says administration official. So the question this morning was, how do you create urgency in a non-urgent market? This is how you can create urgency in a non-urgent market, because what happens if Trump fires Powell early or even picks a new federal chair president early? Interest rates could come down. we don't know this. Nobody has nobody's a fortune teller if you're or a future teller, but we know that it's a very good possibility because he wants interest rates to come down. So he's more likely to put someone in there who also wants interest rates to come down. And then you just explain supply and demand. More people that come out instead of just having one or two people or three people on one property, which very may be the case now. So you don't want to lowball $50,000, right? It very well may be the case now still, but maybe we can structure credits or get you a lower interest rate or get your closing costs paid for and put this together in a creative way now. If you've got 20 people on one house like 2021, forget about it. That's not going to happen. We're not going to be able to do the structuring how we used to be able to do or how we can do now. So we do have this window of opportunity. And if we can communicate that to our clients now about this window that's here, we know that there's a possibility that Trump hire somebody else, put somebody else out there, and interest rates come down. And if that happens, it's game over. I mean, it's not game over. Everybody's going to want a house then, but it's game over for a lot of these opportunities that we're seeing now. All right, Patrick, you have anything to add?
No, no, I mean, that was amazing. I guess on top of kind of what you were saying initially to Laura, when you're receiving pushback from the clients, which is 99% of them, it's, coddle them at first, but also tell them the benefits of why today is a good day to buy. Example, like, hey, a lot of sellers are, it's a good time to buy because of the data that you know in your head. So it's up to you to interpret that to them. For me, I actually just got two couples that are really, really kind of shy about the market right now, but I told them that, hey, we never know what we know. It's a great time to buy. Let's go, like Ashley said, talk to a lender, see our numbers, see what we can qualify for. I mean, we don't even know. Maybe you guys can qualify for a $600,000 purchase price. But at the end of the day, if you guys can cover a 3K, 4K monthly, then I can guarantee that you guys can probably own a house right now if you guys have been in your job for a long time. And also tell them that there's a lot of possibilities in this market, like literally list that to them. We can go and ask for seller's credit, buy down your rates. We don't have to stay at the 6.7, 6.85% rate. It's a great time because we can go and negotiate for a buy down. We can have a 4%, 5% interest rates for the next 2 years and refinance, really show them the game plan and show why you're the expert of the field and really boost their confidence in that sense. So that's one thing I can add.
Absolutely. Okay, so before we go into popcorn and talk about everyone's individual market, since we all know they're all different, let's just create space for anyone who might have questions that they need answered to empower them about the market, about interest rates, about what's going on in the economy. If you're not reading the Wall Street Journal or listening to podcasts, is there anything, and there's no stupid questions, trust me, there's ask all the things, what's a 2-1 buy down, or whatever things that you might be thinking, what can you do with the credit? If you have a question, raise your hand. If not, we'll go over and we'll start popcorn. All right, we'll give it 3 more seconds.
You were just so detailed.
Watch out, Ashley gonna go take the ship. No, let's not leave her hanging. I think that it's really a good time right now to go all in, to call up all your buyers and tell them, hey, it's Christmas right now at the end of summer. Like right now, if you're on the fence, like you weren't gonna buy a home anyway, let's try to see what we can get on these credits. Massive amount of credit. Sellers are helping them get to the finish line. But like you said, Ashley, like I put a comment in the chat, like if you hate him or you love him, the Don wants something done, it's gonna get done, and he's proven it. You know what I mean? So just think about it. He's already put all the people he wants in position in his cabinet, and, in his regime. So putting someone that's in here where he's like-minded, all of these credits are going by. You're going to be looking at a shit ton of work, but I mean, you're going to really have to know your shit. So this is a perfect space right now. Like she said, it's no dumb questions. Does everybody on here knows what a seller credit is, what you could use it for, what you can't use it for? Because at the end of the day, once you master this, you'll be able to see that these are some of the ways that you're going to be able to get in contract. Instead of trying to fight 5 or 6 different peoples, you can know, like specifically, like me and Jacob had a client with Stephanie, and Although the houses were $679, she needs $22,000. $22,000 just to get into contract at the $679 price. So what will we do? We write it up higher. We wrote it for $699 because they're already dropped it $20,000. So the thing is, hey, you just dropped it $20,000. We're giving you that $20,000 you dropped, but we need it back in the form of credits. And that's how we got her in the we will be getting her in contract, because we tried to get her on the flip, but it didn't have the time period. So we just got to rewrite the contract in a different way. So there's still super massive deals out there everywhere. I don't care what city you're looking at, wherever you're doing business, there's deals there. So this is the time now. Don't not miss business because you're afraid to ask questions or you're afraid to figure out how the stuff goes.
And those things are happening all over the place. I just got into contract with Evangeline a couple weeks ago, and the other side was a realtor slash lender. And he said, "How do you need to structure this to make this work?" And I said, "That's my favorite question I've ever been asked." They were approved at 480. We got them up to 525 with a $30,000 credit. And we used that credit to buy down their interest rate to 5.375 and pay all of their closing costs. So they didn't have money for their own closing costs, and they wouldn't have been able to reach so high in purchase price. Net, the seller got what they wanted, and the buyer, I did the calculations, $60,000 over the life of the loan that they saved, even at the higher purchase price. It's a higher purchase price, but it's a much lower interest rate. They saved $60,000 if they were to stay in that same loan comparably, and they got all of their closing costs paid for, so they saved $11,000 out of pocket. So there's a lot of things that are going on VA loans, for example. VA loans, you can pay off personal debt on a VA loan. So I had a client that paid their car off with a seller credit. If this happens and they put a new Fed president in there that lowers rates, forget it. No one's getting their car paid off when they're buying a house, right? Like, this is a magical market for people, but they do need to be educated about supply and demand. Supply and demand to us might sound like, well, duh, supply and demand, like more people, but people don't understand that concept. They understand, I saw a news article. You said it was a buyer's market. I can ask for $50,000 underneath, and that's all I know. And so when Elias brought out that sheet that talked about the specifics of your specific market, that is what they need. Because when I talk to them, I say, listen, this isn't going to work in the Berkeley Hills. This isn't going to work in the Oakland Hills. You have to rely on your real estate agent and find out how many offers are on each house in the area you're looking at. How much competition is there? What is a reasonable offer to make in that specific area, in that specific neighborhood? Because one neighborhood to the next could be completely different. So you guys being able to provide that in detail just adds so much value. All right, let's start, unless anybody has, oh, Stephanie. Hey, Steph.
Hi guys. So I just want to add, when almost everyone I talk to is scared. They're nervous. There's so many things going on in the market, the headlines, there's so much going on. And so I just tell everybody, you have to remember that real estate is hyper local. It's just like the weather. It changes from city to city. So what you hear on the news may not be what's happening in your actual market. So that's where you guys come in, and we're the experts, right? We have to know what's going on in the markets that they're looking at. And I tell everyone, every destination starts with a clear starting point. So we have to know where you are at now, even if you've thought about buying a house, but you're not sure if it's possible, or if you really want to do it, that's okay. We do free consultations, coming up with a plan, assessing where they're at, and then we can figure out how to get them where they want to be. Whether it's now, 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, a year, it doesn't matter. But let's figure out where you're at now so that you take the proper steps to get you ready to where you want to be in the future. So just remember that, everyone is scared. I hear that almost every conversation I have, because it is scary. This is most likely the biggest purchase they will ever make in their life, right? So just be patient, speak with them as softly as you can, and just reassure them you're not committing to buying a house just because you're talking to us, right? We're just going to show you what's available or how to get you where you want to be. And that's all. Then you have the tools to prepare.
Absolutely. Sometimes we work with people for a week, sometimes we work with people for 2 years, but we'll stick with you. Okay, Glenn.
So I recently, just last weekend, I saw the Superman movie, and I loved it. But I think that each one of us in our own way thinks that, or not thinks, knows that we are the Superman, Superwoman, super person, superhuman, for our clients. But like in that movie, Superman needed the help of so many people and the support, like Crypto, right? That dog comes in and saves him multiple times. I was working with a client, Shalon, Ashley, right? Ashley and I worked with Shalon, and there were so many times that Ashley was my Crypto. Like I was like, girl, I can't do this by myself. I need you, and I need that strength. And so this is a great reminder to us that we are not in this alone. And when you are feeling like, gosh, I don't know how to answer this question, or I'm tired of answering this question, or I can't have this conversation again, then give it to another superhuman on your team. Yeah, right. You just got to tag someone else in. Jessica, you've been coming at me a lot with the last day with some questions about disclosures and contingencies and all of that. Tag that person in, get them involved, ask the questions, ask for support. It's not help, it's support, right? You can't do it without that support of your team.
Absolutely. And that's what's so special about this team is that everyone's so willing to help. I don't know if you guys know this, but that's not normal. That is not everywhere. But in this team, you have so many genuinely good people that are like, oh, yeah, I figured that out. Here, let me help. Or here, this is how I phrase it. Or this is what works for me. Or I can structure it this way. And nobody wants anything in return. They genuinely just want to help. That is so rare. And I love this team so much because of that attribute that you guys have. So yeah, if you're tired of saying the same thing or you've said it a bunch of ways but it's not landing, tag someone else in. There's so many people that are willing to show up and help. All right, so let's go into the market and talk about certain areas of the market. Is anyone experiencing something different out of the blue? Otherwise, we'll just randomly call on people and find out what's going on in your local market. All right, let's start with Mara. Hi, Mara. I don't think I've chatted with you. Where are you located? What do you see in your market?
I'm in Napa and I'm new
Oh,
to the group. So I'm
welcome.
a brand new agent. So our market, we're getting a lot more houses. Obviously, I'm noticing it every street I go down. I'm like, oh, there's a new house on the market. There's a new house on the market. So it is changing. We're seeing a lot. We're seeing a little bit of a drop in square foot prices. So like price per square foot. And what else am I seeing? I think the days on the market's gone down a little bit, but not much. And the average sale price is still holding strong at like 900,000 in this market.
Awesome. So how long have you been an agent, Mara?
I'm brand new. So February is when I got my license and I just started with you guys this week.
Welcome. You are in the right place. Just keep showing up to these calls Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and you're gonna learn so much. This amazing group of humans.
I am already.
Awesome. All right. Let's see. Glenn, what are you seeing? What are you seeing in your market?
Yeah, it's interesting. And I looked at the data for year over year. I'm in Livermore, so I'll pick on Livermore since I'm here. But so the price is the same, right? So when you look at the average sales price for Livermore, we're at about 1.3 million, which is where we were at this time last year. But we're seeing homes sitting on the market for twice as long. And what we were also seeing is that this time last year, homes were being listed at 1.2-ish. So they were going above asking, but now we're seeing that more transparent pricing, and the homes are definitely sitting longer. But it's strange because it feels different because that's year over year. But when I look at where it's coming from in the last couple of months, that still days on market is 7. We went from 17 days to 21 days, so we're up a bit there over the last couple of months, and the prices are continuing to climb. Just, we're not seeing that increase of 10 and 20%, but I like, just my gut, I know that this can turn so fast, and so like, I want to get these people in contract, like, get off that fence and just move, because I can't tell you how long this train is going to be sitting in this station.
Right. And transparent prices, when it's going over asking, you lose the ability to structure in a credit. But when it's transparent prices, that's when that call, like, hey, so if I was to offer this, but your seller's going to actually net this, would that work for your client? There's space for that. If somebody's
Yeah.
got cash and it's going over listing, they're like, don't even talk to me.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean,
So
it definitely paints that opportunity picture. So I see it.
awesome. Awesome. Okay, Heather. Oh, you're muted. There you go.
I did mute. Boomer. So yeah, I actually just did a market update the other day. So we're in Stanislaus County specifically at a 3.1% increase year over year. And what's interesting is that we are up just under 1% from last year. But if you're looking June to May, we've actually dropped 2.3% as far as list prices. We're seeing an increase June to May, I think 12.6% more inventory. So, we still have a lot of people here that are trepidatious because they're very fixated on those interest rates, and again, those same conversations is, what do you think is going to happen when those interest rates go down? Everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon. You're going to have, a lot more competitions, a lot more competition to get into a property, because right now, you have a lot of breathing room to negotiate to get those credits. And honestly, I prepare when I listed, my listing that is currently in escrow, I prepared them for that. I'm like, all right. And I did multiple net sheets already, where, expect that they're going to ask for their buyer broker compensation, obviously, but then everybody they're asking for credits, to buy down the rate, because obviously that's what we're telling everybody. And, the smart ones are listening. So, I I prepare my sellers for it ahead of time, and we'll have multiple sheets. As a matter of fact, we got an offer and they wanted half their closing costs paid, so we capped it out. Okay, what's half their closing costs at this, all right, we'll give you a $7,000 credit, but we asked for a higher list price because, we want to help you. But at the end of the day, my sellers also, they have a net. And realistically, if you offer just a little bit more to get that credit, what does it really make a difference on your monthly payment? Like, what is it, $20, $25? So it does behoove them in the long run to get the lower interest rate, and it actually saves them money in the long run. So it's just like kind of switching their mind a little bit. Like, don't focus so much on the offer, or let's focus on getting your payment to where you want it to be, with the buyer. So it's like this intricate little dance.
It really is. And that is holistically what I see happening. It's not that people are approaching at a transparent list price and then asking for credits. It's that the seller wants a certain net, so they're bringing the price up and then asking for credit. So the seller is getting the net that they want, or very close to it, but the buyer is getting a lower interest rate because all they're focused on is their monthly payment. So as long as we can make both happy, that's a good way to do it. Is you up the price, ask for credits. And what's interesting, and a pattern I've seen over the last few calls, is that, okay, we're seeing when it's listed, it's selling below list. But if you look holistically at the last year or so, sales prices are going up. The actual prices of the house has more value in it, right? So the house is still maintaining the value, which is good for sellers. They're still making money net. Um, they just have to change around the price of the list.
Oh, I forgot I was going to say one more thing. Am I on mute?
Oh yeah, no, you're good.
I'm sorry. It was, it's very being like focused on a very specific area too, because in Stanislaus County, where you're listing at makes a huge difference. You know, we have, because you can go from anywhere from 19 days on the market if you're in a very high desirable area to 34 days on the market, you know, for sellers. I'm talking more for sellers. So it's good to know the area to prepare them for that. And also, if you're working with buyers, if it's a very desirable area, hey, you know, maybe we don't want to ask for the sun, the moon, and the stars over here in this area. So, you know, really being specific to where you're working is essential.
It is absolutely essential because one neighborhood to another is going to be a whole different game that you're going to play. And yes, Glenn, I have my pencil and my eraser because I think the information you guys give per market is very valuable. And I want to make sure I write it down. All right. Who else? Tanisha, where are you? Where are you? To put you on the spot. Where are you?
See, I'm on the spot a lot today. And shout out to Patrick for renaming yourself too.
I'm going to call Patrick TJ, Tanisha Jr.
Tanisha Jr. So I'm in Union City. I'm new to the team also, Mara. I'm in Union City. However, I have a client in Santa Cruz. I picked up a Santa Cruz buyer. And yeah, it changes like the weather, like someone had mentioned. In Union City, homes are on the market a lot longer. And I'm seeing a lot of price drops. And I have closed 2 deals so far, and both of them received credits. And I'm excited about that, but it's totally different in Santa Cruz. It's very competitive. There's multiple offers. I have buyers that think they're going to find their dream home. So all of this information that you all are providing is really helping me. I need to give them data so they can hurry up and move. Did I answer your question?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. So Santa Cruz, highly competitive. Union City, still room for a little bit of negotiation. And that just goes to show you, like the weather, things change, and you really got to know your market and your numbers in that market. Anybody else see anything that's a little different in their market? Let's see. Who
Just want
else
to
do we have?
piggyback off that neighborhood subject that you had, like the block by block, it definitely is different. Like for example, in San Francisco, Pac Heights and Noe Valley, the prices are actually decreased by I think 5% year over year, but they're the most competitive areas with Sunset as well. But like going on top of what you just said, it's you really gotta dive deep on the hyper locality of the neighborhoods and the areas that you're looking at in order to sell those in great urgency.
Yeah, and it gives you so much more credibility too, because like I mentioned before, like we know buyers are on social media. They're reading the news, they're watching the news, they're educated, but they don't have access to the MLS. I don't have access to the MLS. That is your guys' superpower. So if you know how to use it and bring the data in and show them, hey, on this house, there's been this many offers, this is what the trend is, and that's why I'm suggesting this offer, it just, it brings credibility to you and it breeds trust so that they're willing to trust your opinion when they go forward with their offer. Let's see, Hugo, what are you seeing in your market? Where are you?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Ashley. I'm in Solano County, so Fairfield and Vacaville, and yeah, definitely, inventory has risen. There's a lot of sellers. I think what we're seeing here a lot too is the early the early tides of the silver tsunami. So what I'm seeing when going out with buyers is we're seeing a lot of like outdated homes, and the pricing is incorrect on the homes. They're asking a little too much, which is good for us, right? Creates inventory, still inventory up here. So it just allows us to negotiate even deeper on these homes. But yeah, definitely inventory has risen. There are buyers out there, definitely for sure as well. People are putting in offers and stuff like that. But I would say the biggest thing we're seeing here is it's definitely a buyer's market. If you're a seller, you have to, stand out. You have to, really take into consideration the competition that you have out there.
Absolutely. And that's such a great talking point too. The silver tsunami, that has been like like a ghost for years and years and years. Everybody's kind of been talking about it. Oh, this thing could happen, but it hasn't. And now you're right. I'm starting to see more probate properties. I've never seen probate properties. Been doing this 5 years. I was bank manager for 10 before that. I didn't see a lot of probate properties. I'm starting to see them now. I'm starting to see even more like things that are going through the court system. So that does breed more opportunity, like you said, for buyers to negotiate. Sellers need to be aware of that and be prepared on their side. But for buyers, if you're going through and looking for touch points to try to find an article from the Wall Street Journal about the silver tsunami, trust me, there's tons of them, or anywhere on the internet, and just say, hey, I just wanted to let you know, now that we know this is happening in Solano County and Fairfield and Vacaville, this is creating a huge opportunity for those buyers. And in those areas, those are buyers that can't necessarily afford, like, the places where they really are centralized, like San Francisco or Oakland or other places, but they can buy a house in those areas. And the fact that there's opportunities for seller credits, the number one reason people can't buy houses is because they don't have enough for down payment and closing costs. So if we can solve that issue, and now they know that we can solve that issue, then that's going to create the urgency that we're looking for. Because a lot of people think, oh, they're not ready because they don't have the money. Oh, guess what? I've solved that issue for you. Let me tell you about it. We just need to let as many people know as possible because they don't know. Like, I didn't know. I didn't know when I do this for a living that is Solano, Fairfield, and Vacaville. So that's the power of this call. Hey, Steph.
Yeah, Ashley, you bring up a good point that the cash out of pocket is huge for buyers, right? Cash out of pocket, not having enough. So I just wanted to share some of the things that we're doing here. I just had a closing and my buyer bought a $535,000 home, used down payment assistance, and was able to buy a home with $1,200 out of pocket. $1,200 because we layered it with a seller credit and down payment assistance. This is the market where we can get creative and do that. So, I mean, we're $1,200. They bought a house for $1,200. I had another VA buyer. We got a seller. So VA loans are 100% financing, zero down. Okay. We got a seller credit. My veterans bought a home with $900 out of pocket. This is the market where we can tailor these deals to do this. Okay. So keep that in mind when you're out there talking to these people. I'm pretty sure you guys have access to seeing, well, I thought anyways, I don't know, how much seller credits are going on I think that's on the MLS, right? If you can, are you somebody who's seasoned, are you able to search like seller credits? What properties close with seller credits? Is that one of the categories? No? Okay. I thought it was for some reason. Well, another thing, a seasoned agent told me once, when you guys are structuring the offers, to pull a property profile on that property and figure out how much the seller currently owns. So how much was the last loan on that property? And then you can compare it to where the market is now. And that way you can kind of gauge how much room you have to play with, right? Because not every seller right now is in the position to give a $20,000 credit. So you got to keep that in mind too. A lot of people bought in 2021, and we're paying over asking. And so their equity is very minimal. So keep that in mind when you're writing your offers. You can tap into how much they currently own versus where the market's at now. So you can kind of figure out, is this something we can come in and ask for a big seller credit or not, right? Just something I wanted to share.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And every market's different. But if there's no market with low rates where you're going to pay $1,200 for a house. There really is a specific amount of time. All right, Patrick.
Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, that was a lot of data, and I appreciate everyone's contribution as always. Let's do some takeaways right now, see what we learned. I know I learned a couple of things. I wrote down a couple of things on my notes. Let's do Alex. Alex, any takeaways for today's meeting?
No, I'm loving all the input. Like, since I'm new to the business, taking it all in, I'm really just absorbing the different markets. And like, I'm focused here in Stockton, and even just talking to buyers, talking to sellers, I have a little bit more in my tool belt to be able to converse with them about and what we're going through. So it's really nice to have a better understanding. And even a baseline to start doing more research on how to like structure my conversations and reframe it in a way that they can process compared to the rest of the nation, because our market's very much different than the rest of the nation.
No, absolutely. And it looks like Laura and needs some powwowing with you. You said Stockton, Alex? Yeah, no.
Yes, Stockton.
Yeah, so just having a little mind group together, see what you guys can come up with. But yeah, it's 9:30 right now. Ashley, should we wrap it up?
All right. Thank you guys for joining. And as Elias always says, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and visions. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.
You killed it today. Nice work.
Yay.
Good shit,
I got
Ashley.
a 5
Good shit.
a.m. call or text and I started sweating. I was like, what? I gotta wake up.
You're like, come on, let's do this.
Have a
Do
good
hard
day, y'all.
things.
We'll see y'all later. Thanks.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.